I'm Fay, I work at Scarsdale. I've worked there for almost 10 years now, worked there from being a new grad. We do cattle work, we do a lot of smallholder work, I do quite a lot of camelid work. So we've always, as a practice, we've always had new grads coming through. They just bring like something different, new knowledge, new skill sets, and I've always been quite involved with bringing them on and helping them learn. So obviously there was nothing formal before the VetGDP, so when that came out, I thought it'd be a really good idea to get on that so that, you know, it could help my knowledge in bringing on the new grads and that we could continue to keep having new grads and having advisors within the practice. So that's really why I volunteered for the job. It took me quite a while to finish it because of obviously clinical obligations as well, but getting through it you can see where all of the different coaching bits and things come into practice, you know, getting with your new grads. So prior to the training you just sort of do more of the clinical stuff and making sure they're okay, and you know, you are conscious of, you know, things like mental well-being and coaching and things like that, but I had never had any formal training on it, so I thought that part was really useful, like as a sort of, you can do this clinically because that's your job and you can teach that, but there's all these other sort of strands where you can help your new grad out. So if they're engaged and they're willing to learn and sit down with you and, you know, talk about what they want and what they're doing, it's really, really positive. I certainly can't say anything bad about it because I haven't had a bad new grad, but I think it's really helpful and it gives some structure to their life, learning life. So yeah, I think it's really good. Probably when Lucy got her thing back to say she'd passed. That was really cool because I mean, I didn't have to work particularly hard, but Lucy did obviously work very hard, and just helping her, seeing her grow as a vet and get through it at the end and showing, you know, like we know she's an excellent vet, but it's that recognition from somebody else to say, you know, like she's done a really good job, she's documented everything really well. I can't take any of the credit for that, Lucy did it all, but I feel like I was there with her. I guess the monthly catch-ups are challenging to fit in, certainly sort of over spring at busy times. We're all, you know, we've got a lot of clinical obligations, and remembering even to sit down every month is difficult, and it's also gets difficult in the busy times, like being there as much as you'd like to be for your graduate. You know, if they're being sent out to calvings and lambings and you're busy with your own things, it's a bit frustrating that you're not just literally on the end of you're on the end of the phone but not on the farm with them and stuff, but that's just practice, isn't it? You just work around it. So we've just tried to be preemptive, so getting visits booked in advance on the day book and allocating them as non-clinical time. And I guess also with the being out and helping on farm, we've got quite a few sort of more qualified vets. So if I'm not available, then one of them always is. So we've sort of worked together in that response and then all collated everything back. So when the new grads are doing something with one of my colleagues, they'll sort of feed back to me, or they did this really well, they could improve on this sort of thing. So it's sort of a practice-wide thing with me being the sort of hub for the collation of feedback, I guess. We sort of picked ones that new grads were going to be seeing. So although some of them are a bit more sort of case dependent, so we did pick the post-mortem one, but we thought that was important in farm practice. However, obviously you don't see loads and loads, so we sort of tried to do things to overcome that. So going to the Nottingham pathology unit, but basically just looked through and was like, yeah, you're going to see loads of these, so this will be like not an easy win, but that's important to be good at, so it's important to have on your EPA. So surgical things and clinical exams and population medicine's obviously really important for a farm vet, so we picked the ones that we thought were going to be most relevant and also sort of seen regularly by new grads, so none of the sort of more in-depth ones like the stuff that they're going to come onto in later years.